Hello, my name is Alison Lowe Madigan, and I'm one of the heritage pioneers at Grand Junction at St Mary Magdalene's Church in Paddington. I started researching the movies and TV productions that have been filmed at the church following a conversation I had with the vicar, Father Henry Everett, in which he referred to the hundreds of location filming records stored in the church archive. This prompted my curiosity, and the draw loads of files turned out to be a real treasure trove, with quite a few surprises along the way. From St Trinian's to Downton Abbey, the Constant Gardener to Spooks, the Church of St Mary Magdalene, also known as St Mary Mags, has appeared in many films and television programmes over the years. These have ranged from international blockbusters, such as Les Miserables and Wonder Woman, primetime TV series, including Lewis, Silent Witness and Humans, through to music videos and student productions. Even a Valentine's cover for Kerrang! Magazine and a Lenny Henry ad for Premier Inn. And there's even a Game of Thrones connection. One of the earliest films featuring St Mary Mags and the surrounding area was The Blue Lamp. Starring Dirk Bogarde in one of his earliest roles, it was shot during the summer of 1949 and released in 1950. In it, Bogarde plays a petty criminal and murderer who is tracked down and finally caught. It is during the climactic police chase that you get a quick, but recognisable, glimpse of the church in the background. The film was striking for being shot on location for all its exteriors, and it includes many locations around the Westbourne Green and Paddington Green neighbourhood. Shot with a semi-documentary naturalism, it offers a vivid insight into daily life in post-war London, a period still of ration cards, music halls and bomb sites, where straggles of ragged children played among the ruins. The area was still made up of the original Victorian houses, many of them divided up into flats and shabby lodgings, long before they were demolished to make way for the Warwick estate that now surrounds the church. The canal and the stretch of Harrow Road between Amberley Road and Elgin Avenue appear repeatedly and very recognisably. With a keen eye, you can also pick out a number of other local landmarks across as far as Ladbroke Grove and Shepherd's Bush. However, many of the key settings in the film have long since vanished, and with them a way of life. These include the original Paddington Green police station, which stood on the Harrow Road, just west of the old town hall, both of which were taken down to clear space for the Westway. The very grand Metropolitan Variety Theatre, at the corner of Edgware Road, where the replacement Paddington Green police station now stands, and the Coliseum Cinema at 324 Harrow Road, have also gone. The Children's Hospital at Paddington Green has survived, but is now apartments, while the White City Greyhound Stadium, which also features in the film, has been replaced by the Westfield Shopping Centre. The Blue Lamp was a top box office hit and winner of the 1951 BAFTA Best Film Award. It was also the inspiration for the long-running TV police drama series Dixon of Dock Green, with Jack Warner as PC George Dixon, the same character he plays in the film. Moving forward to 1968, we find another film that also shows the exterior of St Mary Mags, from pretty much the same angle towards the back of the church from the road by the canal. But whereas The Blue Lamp is still considered a classic of its genre, this one is a real oddity. The Secret Ceremony was directed by Joseph Losey, an award-winning director who also made The Servant, Accident and The Go-Between, along with many other films. And it stars Liz Taylor and Mia Farrow. Now, this requires a bit of imagination. Liz Taylor and Mia Farrow, who is heavily disguised in a long dark wig, are riding on a double-decker bus that stops just opposite the church. As I say, it takes some imagination. By this time, the late 60s, the old Victorian houses have been demolished and the first new tower blocks of the Warwick estate have been built. St Mary Mag's itself is surrounded by hoardings, so not dissimilar to how it looked during the recent conservation project. Liz Taylor and Mia Farrow get off the bus and then enter the church, and this is where they witness the baptism or secret ceremony that gave the film its title. While Losey was renowned for many of the films he made, this was not one of them. But if you're curious, you can find the clip showing the church on YouTube. However, some of the other films that have been shot inside the church are much better known, and with good reason. One of them is The Constant Gardener, the 2005 film based on John le Carré's novel of the same name, and starring Ralph Fiennes and Rachel Weisz. Here too, the church was used for a service, this time a memorial service for one of the main characters. I won't say anything more than that, so as not to spoil the plot if you haven't seen it. Another funeral service filmed at the church was for the 2009 TV miniseries Murderland, starring Robbie Coltrane, then at the height of his fame from the Harry Potter films. The current vicar of St Mary Mag's, Father Henry, even appears in the film, officiating at the service. A small number of other films have also been shot in the main church, but it is downstairs in the undercroft that the vast majority of filming has taken place. Most famous of all being Les Mis. Father Henry has very clear memories of that period, as there were several weeks of prep time when the crew took over the church, plus 3 days of filming. For one scene, the Undercroft was dressed as a library in the Bishop of Digne's ecclesiastical palace. For another, it was kitted out to look like stalls to accommodate a mule and a cow, complete with a carpeting of straw. Shooting for that particular scene overran, and it was arranged that the mule and cow would stay the night before their filming was finished the next day. Unfortunately, their scene didn't survive the final cut. Another scene shot down here, however, most definitely did. That's the scene with Hugh Jackman singing his solo What Have I Done? As his character, Jean Valjean, looks back on the error of his ways and pledges to live a better life. That scene was shot entirely in the beautiful Quimper Chapel, with its ornate neo-Gothic decoration. Sadly, at the moment, all we can see of the chapel is blank hoardings. The chapel behind is absolutely stunning, but has suffered a lot from damp and has been closed off to protect it until a much-needed conservation programme can be undertaken. Fortunately, you can get a sense of how beautiful it is by watching the film, or indeed just the YouTube clip of Jackman performing the song. One thing to warn you about, however, is that in the film it looks enormous, whereas it is in fact quite small, and the effect of size is achieved largely through camera work and editing. The films mentioned so far all show the church as a church, but that has not been the case for the vast majority of other productions shot here. Indeed, the Undercroft has appeared in many different guises, many of them completely unrelated to its religious purpose. On multiple occasions it has appeared as a prison cell. It was a torture chamber in an episode of Tom Hardy's TV series Taboo, and the dungeons of the Houses of Parliament in a docudrama about Guy Fawkes. It was dressed up as Shakespeare's long-lost study in the film of St Trinian's. It harboured Russian refugees in Downton Abbey and served as a World War II field hospital in Band of Brothers. On several other occasions, it has been decked out as a trendy wine bar. Once in an episode of the TV series Lewis, and again in the film London Fields, which was adapted from the Martin Amis novel of the same name, and starred Amber Heard, who appeared in it with her then husband, Johnny Depp. The distinctive vaults of the Undercroft even appear on the poster for the movie. And in Wonder Woman, one of the last productions filmed here before the church was closed for the recent conservation project, it was a World War I bunker. Over the years, the church has appeared in Waking the Dead, Foyle's War, Little Dorrit, Silent Witness, Agatha Christie's Marple, Horrible Histories, and Gangster Granny, among many, many others. It has appeared in documentaries, fashion shows, music promos, video games, and even a Bollywood musical. All in all, it has been filmed for hundreds of productions of very different sorts, sometimes recognisably, but much more often not. The reason why St Mary Mag's has played a part in so many different films and TV dramas is largely due to its versatility and the ability to dress it up to look like so many different places. Practical factors have also added to its popularity among filmmakers. The Westway made it easy for production crews to come with film trucks from the BBC television studios at Shepherd's Bush, and also from Pinewood and Elstree Film Studios. For central London, it is relatively well served for parking spaces, always needed for filming. It is also relatively quiet, as it is not under one of the main flight paths for Heathrow, a problem affecting much of West London. And it is even quieter during school holidays when there aren't the regular eruptions of shrill children's voices during playtimes at the neighbouring St Mary Magdalene's primary school. For the church, the benefit of location filming was that the fees charged helped contribute to maintaining the historically important Grade 1 listed building before the Heritage Lottery-funded Conservation and Heritage Project and the creation of the Grand Junction Annex, which have opened it up to all the many different community activities that are now run here, including art workshops, meditation and yoga sessions, after-school classes, concerts and talks. Oh, and the Game of Thrones connection? The church was used 3 years running as a backdrop for the annual compilations of the top 10 highlights for the show that season.